Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Steve here from Steve's Garage. Today is February 6th, 2023. And I thought I'd start mentioning the date because 3,000 years from now, when the hot rodders are working on their spaceships, they can look at YouTube and look at all these old cars we've been working on and going, wow, they were using gasoline back then. What a bunch of cavemen. So I just thought it'd be interesting, even for my own, information down the road, and say, when the heck did I make that video? So we got Earl with us today, Inspector Earl here. He's got his yellow vest on. Gonna be calling the shots to keep me safe. And Earl's got his sign of the day: keep at it. And I get asked a lot, how did you figure this out? Because I've never built cars. I was a carpenter my whole life. I was in construction for 40 years. I'm retired now, and even that I learned from some people and from books, and I wound up becoming a master carpenter. I had, this was a cabinet shop where we built custom cabinets for years. And we built, new homes and additions and all that stuff, typical general contractor. And all I have to say to people is keep at it, right there. Keep at it. I made a bunch of mistakes. The first car I made, I look at it now, I'm like, oh my God. And I'm going to show you that. It's still, winter here, and that car's in storage. But we'll do a whole episode on that car. And I'll show you the coolest thing I did with that car is I made a book. I went on Shutterfly and I took all my photographs from my phone, and Shutterfly is very simple. You just go in there and just download picture after picture after picture, and then I did a hardcover, and it cost like $110 at the time. But I'm so glad I did that, because when I go to the car shows with that thing, I say, yeah, I built this car. They're like, well, what do you mean you built the car? And when you do something that has so many hours and so much love, and it's a labor of love they put into these cars, because you'd have to be crazy otherwise. It's just lots of time. And now I'm retired, I have the time, which is awesome. But before I was working full time, and I'd be working at nights, weekends, any moment I could get on it, and I'd lay awake at night thinking of, I couldn't wait to get back at it. So that first car I built, I look at it now, and it's a disaster, really. I mean, if a car, you show it to a car builder, they're like, oh, nice, what a joke. But it came out pretty good. It's the car that's on my cover shot. If you look at my YouTube channel, the cover shot is a hot rod with green flames in front of the barn. That's the first car I built. And I didn't know what gauge steels to use, so the whole car is built out of 16 gauge steel. And I took, when I had little corners to make, I used a sandbag, a leather sandbag, and a mallet, and I beat the hell out of that stuff. I bought a cheap planishing hammer, because who knows where it was going, so I didn't want to spend a lot of money on tools. And I blew a planishing hammer apart because I'm using 16 gauge steel, and I'm a big dude, I'm wrestling it, and I just destroyed the tools. But I got through it, and it came out pretty cool. Everyone loves it. But to say, yeah, I built this, and people go, what do you mean you built it? Well, this book, and I suggest this to every guy who builds a custom car, we all take pictures. I'm sure everyone takes pictures of everything as they go. Go on to like Shutterfly, and I'm not advertising for them. I'm just saying it was easy to use. Their app is great, and it was just simple. And I got this book in hand, and I stand there with the guys crowded around the car, and we go through page by page, and I show them every little detail of how I built this car. And it's such a great tool. It's such a great thing to go back and look at and see where I came from to now building. This is my second car, and the first car was like going to college. I learned so much. It's just unbelievable how much I learned there. And you can watch all the videos in the world. You can talk to 1,000 guys in the body shop, but until you start bending metal and in welding, I'd never welded before. So I bought the Eastwood welders. I watched their videos online. I watched a ton of YouTube guys, this is how you do this, this is how you do that. And just, burnt a lot of metal. And next thing you know, I learned, So again, it's keep at it. Don't get discouraged. That's the whole point of this sign. And I'm sorry Earl's not looking too good today. He had a tough weekend. Right, Earl? He's been losing weight too. I'm a little worried about him. How you doing, Earl, today? Flat-eyed. Doing all right. So Earl says hello. He's giving you a big wave. So today's project, you've been following me making this windshield. This is similar to a Duval windshield. And I went ahead, did a whole video on the Duval windshield, and I believe his first name was Charles Duval. Back in the 20s and 30s, he was designing for a fabrication and plating company out in Hollywood, California, and he designed the Duval windshield that has the wraparound top. It comes down to more curved, and it was a 5-piece windshield. It was all bolt together, or you slid it together and had set screws. I don't know exactly how it worked. So I've welded this all in the front, but in the back here I have a huge space. So I've got my 5/16 rod here, and this is a 48-inch piece, and I've marked it right in the center. So I'm going to try to do this in real time. I'm just bending this piece into place, and see if we can get it done in the next 20-30 minutes. So I marked it in the center, and I'm just going to start off with a simple bend, because this windshield has a little bend in it. I don't know what that is, maybe 10-11 degrees. And so I'm going to start with a bend there and work our way into it. So I just started with a little bit of a bend, just everything's eyeball. Eyeball it in, see what you got. Right there, that's not too bad, right to start. We'll go in a little further, so I'm going to give that another little shot. As you can see now, I bent that here. And that goes right in there nice. Very simple. So now I'm going to take my marker, which is not in my hand. Earl, where's my marker? You don't know. Put your hand down. I'm going to move Earl over a little bit. All right, marker we got to find. Bear with me, everybody. Good to see everybody today. Another beautiful day. Here we are in Western Massachusetts, and Saturday morning, today's Monday, so a couple days ago, we woke up, it was 9 degrees, and I'm sorry, minus 9 degrees. So it was a chilly day. All right, so I'm in the center. I've got a center line marked on my top of my cowl here. I can see how raised up this is here. So from here to about here is a soft curve, and then we get hard curve here. Over here we do the same thing. We know we got a soft curve in here, and we're hard over here, and we will try to bend this. Now I'm going to take you over to my handy vise over here. And as I always say, excuse the mess, but hey, it's my shop. So here's the Duesenberg model, by the way, and so that kind of used a little of this for modeling what I'm doing or trying to do. So here you can see all my dotted lines I put in here. Dot. That's where the heavy curve is. So I'm going to put this in starting down here. keeping in mind that I'm trying to keep this all in a straight line up and down. And I'm just going to take that simply enough. And when you apply, depending on where you're applying your pressure, if I grab this down here, I could bend this right here square. But if you apply and you kind of bend this like a bow and arrow, if you had a bow and arrow when you were a kid, and you know, you had to bend that thing down to get that strand, so you're kind of bending and pushing at the same time to get that curve you're looking for. I've kind of got an idea in my brain what I'm looking for, and if it's a little too much, hey, we'll come back. So there's one side, and here's the other side. We got marked in here, down here, like that. So looks like it's probably a little overbent, but I don't know if you can see the whole thing, but it's all trial and error. That's what we're doing. Again, keep at it. If you screw it up, well, if you screw it up totally, you can use another piece. That gets expensive, but I got no answers for you. Just try it. Try it as you go. All right, so here we go. Let's put this in place. Now that's first shot out of the barn. Tell you what, not too bad for first go at it. So this side over here, I don't know if you can see that. Can I see my hands? Yeah, this side over here is a little too much bend, and I knew that when I did this. This is the second part I did. So I'm going to unbend that a little bit, and I'll bring it back. I'll just try to do this back and forth with you to show you my process. And my process is just go for it, really. It's pretty basic. So we'll crank this back in the vise. I'm going to, now you want your hand down by your bend. You don't want it out here because you might be bending in here. So if you have your hand down by your bend and just undo it, you have to go little by little. So that would just move that ever so slightly. And now we will try it out. You're all going to get dizzy with the back and forth work here. Because this is what it is. It's back and forth and back and forth. So, take a look. So, I've got my center line here. I know this side is not too bad at all. It's pretty tight all the way along the cowl. You get in here. That other side is still hanging me up. And that's why you put your center line in, so you can follow your position where you are. So when I push that down into my center line in there, this side is still too high, and I can see right where I want that to come out. So we'll take that back again. I'm going to flatten this curve out a little bit. Might have been a little too much, but that's what it is. Trial and error. Whoop! Lost y'all. You're on a roller coaster ride there for a minute. It's always interesting, isn't it? So there's that piece there. All right, let's try this back in place. All right, so we're getting closer. This piece here. Sometimes you just use what you got. You have something that's close by to bend up against, do it. So that's that there. Now let's take a look, closer look. So if we look in here, there's my center line. And that's got to be bent down just in this area, just down a hair. And then over here, this piece is getting closer and it fits in there pretty darn good. A little bit of air. This is going to be welded in and filled, so you don't have to get it so it's, you know, tight, tight, tight. You can also weld as you go, push that down as you weld, and it'll push it into place. And here's this side. Again, there's our center line. We fit nice right along here and real nice. Come down around this curve nice right in here. And we'll cut that square down here. To follow this line and weld it and fill it. And that's pretty good. So we just bent that. I don't know how much time that was, but that was just a few minutes, and we're, you know, a couple of tweaks, and we're ready for welding. So that's how it goes. It's just a matter of, you know, just keep at it. You know, I keep saying to keep at it, but that's the truth. So by putting in your time and trial and error, and again, if I had screwed this piece up and it was like, nah, but you can just keep bending back and forth. And again, this is going to be welded all in here. I'm going to weld it all in, and then I'm going to infill this so you're not going to see it in the end. It's just going to be a metal filler to tie this windshield together. This windshield's already cranked really good, nice and tight. I've got a little more finish sanding to do in here. And that'll be that. So I'm going to get this filler welded in, and we can work on filling it. This whole cowl has to be filled and body filled, primed, and we're just getting a little closer to getting this thing off the chassis and getting out working on the chassis. So let me work on this, getting a little further on it down the road here, and I will get you back to another video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm looking for more subscribers. I only started a couple of weeks ago, and we've got 48 subscribers now. So it takes time. Everything takes a lot of time, but I wanted to start showing guys that this is possible for anybody to do in their garage. And you know, luckily I'm very fortunate to have the garage that I have, but this is 40 years of work you're looking at too. It didn't happen overnight. So thank you very much. Earl says goodbye. Say goodbye, Earl. Goodbye, Earl. And remember, keep at it. That's Earl's sign for the day. Thank you very much, guys and gals. I have about 5% women watching my channel so far. We're trying to get more. Thank you very much.